Hi, I'm Freddie, and it's been quite a long time, hasn't it? Quite a few months, actually. In that time, I've been working on my dissertation, so that took over quite a lot of my free time. So I wasn't able to make any more maps or any more videos, but now that that's done, I should have the availability to do that. I've had quite a few ideas, and one of them was to create a new northern land above Psychondrill. So this continent has been, where all of the maps that I've made on this channel have featured. So I want to make a new sort of like area above, almost inspired by medieval Scotland, early medieval Scotland, specifically the pits. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I don't know what it's going to be called. I just know the name of one kingdom that I want to place there, called the Kingdom of Kor. But yeah, so far I've drawn this in my notebook. I wanted it to be sort of like claw-like shaped, with its own sort of large bay there, and that makes this part of the sea its own kind of bay as well. Then there could be trade going across. It could be quite interesting. So I think it would look nice, but we'll have to wait and see. This is a new format as well. Instead of doing a time lapse, I'm just going to be showing the process as I go. Should be more like truthful, I guess. You get to understand, hopefully, why I do some things better than if I didn't record as I went. But let's wait and see. Right, I'll get on drawing the coasts. So I've just been doing some of the coastlines by going alongside the stuff I've drawn in my notebook. Kind of happy with this kind of style of like inlets and not too jagged, unlike unfortunately I made my Psychondrill coastlines very jagged, but I did it years ago and I've got to stick with it. But I kind of want to make this northern continent not too jagged, but also not too smooth either. I always like adding some kind of not texture, but sort of interest to it. I don't want it to be plain. I want there to be some kind of feature there, like what's going to be down there. Are there rivers coming from these inlets, or are they just, like fjords or something like that? I always draw at 194%. For some reason, I mentioned this in a live stream ages ago, I make sure on Inkscape everything is derived from 550%. So I scroll back and 194, that's what I normally do my coastlines at. And I normally do rivers at 138 as well. And recently on a contour map I've been doing for a commission, but doing the contours at 97, so I don't really know why I do that. I think it's just the percentages I'm more comfortable doing. I kind of like how they look, because I'm pretty sure, like, I'm no Inkscape wizard, but I'm pretty sure that the percentage you do actually changes, like in combination with the smoothing that you've got here. So I've got mine set at 8, so the percentage and the smoothing will change like how your lines look. I don't know if that's true or not, but this is my Inkscape conspiracy. Okay, so it's how I've been doing drawing maps with Inkscape, so it's how I'll continue doing. And so just a long process of drawing the coasts. So after a length of time, I actually didn't check how much time passed. I've done the main outline. I completely redid the outline of Northern Psychondrill because it wasn't fitting with this outline, so completely redid it. It's kind of smoother than it was before, still a little bit jagged, but that's fine. There is one thing that I'm not too keen about, and that's this empty space here. I'm gonna have to try and figure out how to link it with that, probably with some more islands, but I want it to be more organically placed. On the sketch I did in my notebook, I have this island here, which I might actually use, place it around here or along the sort of southwestern coast bit here. Well, I guess you'll see later what I do. But very soon I'm going to be working on adding the mountains in this continent. I want there to be some are in the north, less mountains in the south. I want that to be more flat, prone. Sorry, and I think I want some over here, not too far north, because I think the idea that this is sort of like wasteland might be interesting. But what I will do is I'll also add the mountains that I use for my generic mountain base. So these ones I'll probably translate to a better, more suitable looking mountain range to befit the previous Tanurk map style, which I'm going to be using for this, because I've decided what I want to actually depict, and that is the journey of a particular king of the Kingdom of Kor, namely the third Druidamak, not Druidamak the Third. That's not how I want them to be called. I want him to be called the third Druidamak. So it's as if in this kingdom, the Kingdom of Kor, they view him as like a reincarnation of the second Druidamak, who's the first Druidamak. So there's like, he's the third incarnation of Druidamak, the king of Kor. So I'm going to be showing his journeys around the northern continent and along the northern coasts of Psychondril too, so that could be interesting. Mimicking like the journey of the Northern Army in the Tanurk map too, so I'll be using those lines. Could be kind of interesting. I'm looking forward to doing it. So I've started drawing some of the mountains that on the map, mainly going by the mountain layout I already have, but I'm using a line thickness of 0.5. Should be alright, I reckon, but yeah, for this large one, I'm not 100% sure. Like, I'm doing it right now, but I'm not 100% sure if it's gonna turn out okay in this sort of like streamlined style, because because I don't know, it's running the risk of being very blocky, which, yeah, I don't really want to do. So, yeah, I'm going to look at these rivers. Whoops. I'm going to look at the Azaria rivers from my Azaria map, which I have not finished. And maybe it will turn out okay, but, yeah. The main reason why that I want to include mountains is both to keep the style the same as the Tanurk map, but also to actually like fill in this map, because there's going to be rivers and locations like cities and such, as well as obviously the notes depicting the journey of the third Druidamak. But I don't know, I'm just not 100% sure if it's gonna be too streamlined, because I mean, like, look at that. Is that too wavy? I don't know. Maybe. Huh. Well, what do you know? I'm actually kind of happy with that. I didn't go 138 in the end. I did the 194, but yeah, I'm actually kind of happy with how that's looking. So I guess now it's time to invent the new mountains and hills of this northern continent. I've really got to come up with a name for it, haven't I? I've only got Kingdom of Kor, which is going to be, I think, around here. It could be, yeah. So I've done the mountains now. Kind of happy with it. Actually, no, I don't like the placement of that. This island. Now I think it's better. Yeah, that's about right. So done done the mountains. I'll just add the sea and the undertextures just to sort of like demonstrate how it might look. Kind of easy to do. Got the sea color here, the one that I used for the Tanurk map. Oh no! Yeah, no, don't worry about that. The land color can be quite easily changed, but I don't know if there's probably better ways to do it. This is how I've always done it. Whoops, this is how I've always done it. And then just select all, and I've got the color of the land over here. Oops. Well, I guess that colors that now. Is that island not? Why is that not in the? That's odd. Oh well. Well, send that to the layer below. And there. And from memory, I did, to get like that shadow effect, I think I duplicated all of the islands. So let's change that to under blur. That name might give an indication what I'm going to do. So select all and then Control 0 to increase it by 1. And I'm going to just make everything fill it with black. I think I set the opacity to 50 and the blur to 5. I'm pretty sure that's what I did. Or was it 0.5? It was definitely 5. That, I think that's what it looks like. Why is that island not? Why? Something doesn't look right. Kind of doesn't look right, does it? Is it because... Okay, so the way blur works on Inkscape is if the image is bigger, if it's like a really big image with a lot of things that you're blurring, the blur would be less. But if you, let's say you're only blurring like that island, the blur will, it will be like really blurred the higher you put the percentage blur. I don't really get it, if I'm honest. I just know that, you know, you got to do it accordingly. So it seems that 5 is too much. It doesn't look quite right. So maybe 3. I'm just comparing it. I've got the Tanurk map in another tab. I think 3 is not enough either. So maybe 4. Okay, I think that fits. I think that fits. And at the end, I'll put the same texture, courtesy of, I believe it's courtesy of just from Map Effects. I'll put that over the end product. But at the moment, I think that looks alright. And so now, not only, I've got the rivers to put in next. So I'll be using these rivers. I've got a lot of rivers on this continent, but thank goodness I only have to trace only a couple of rivers I have to trace, and then I'll have to invent some new rivers for the northern continent, which, yeah, should go well. But I don't know. I'm still not 100% sure about the placement of some of those islands. I mean, when you look at it, does it look right? Because like I really like how Tanurk fits on to the rest of Psychondril, but I'm not 100% sure about that just yet. I mean, like, look at that. That doesn't. The reason why I think it looks odd is because of this island, but I don't really want to retcon it because it appears in quite a lot of my other maps. It appears as far back as my Ostphalen War map. So that was a couple of years ago actually, but I don't really want to retcon it. I don't want to completely change it, so that's why I'm only adding. I'm not taking away, I'm not changing other things, I'm only adding. So the question is, how do I make that work? Yeah, it just kind of looks odd. But I think I'm just gonna have to go through with it. Please let me know what you think. Do you think this looks weird? I would love to know. I would really love to know if you think it looks weird, or if not. But yeah. Second time recording this. I rambled a bit too much last time, but I'm pretty much done with the rivers now. Got to a good amount. I rearranged the islands once again. Actually removed an island there, moved the northern landmass down. It's now got a northern coast, which is nice. Yeah, now you can see more of northern Dombil and even the Tobonian Islands and what will become St. Janish's Island. Or is it that one? I don't know which one it is. I'll find out later. But yeah, I'm just trying to think about how humans got here. Possibly they migrated far later, from Targard along the coast here and then along those islands up here. Or if a different contingent of humans got here at the start of the Second Age. I'm veering more towards a late migration. I think that might work better for my story ideas, especially how Dweedamak might be related to some of the Dombian stuff, or maybe even related to the Kales. But we'll have to wait and see. Have to make sure that all of the nodes line up properly. Unlike here, much better. So what I've done is I've named the northern land Aeba, given it a title, The Journeys of the Third Dweedamak, and I've labelled the Kingdom of Kor as well. And you may see I have changed the orientation once again. Someone really helpful on Instagram pointed out the idea of making it so that making it more obvious that these land masses fit together, much like Africa and Brazil. So I, saw that, wow, I've kind of accidentally done this already with this island here, kind of fits neatly there. And then I saw that this southern peninsula kind of fits nicely there too. And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool if I oriented these islands, which I can't change because they appear in several of my previous maps. Wouldn't it be cool if I oriented these islands to sort of fit with this? So obviously it's all kind of stretched and that. So it's not like a one-to-one fit, but you can imagine that some kind of this would continue into this gap. That's the idea at least. I mean, there's not really much sense to this. I mean, look at some of these land masses, they really don't have much sense to them. But I thought it was kind of interesting to do that. So now I'm going to be labelling some of the locations, specifically the capital of the Kingdom of Kor. I have it written down in my notebook, but I lost it off the top of my head. I believe it's got Burrig at the end. Yeah, Korburrig. So much like how there's Bur for borough in Scotland, like Edinburgh, I'm going to use Burrig for the sort of kingly borough. So Korburrig would be the main city of the Kingdom of Kor. I don't know 100% if I'm pretty sure. Well, I use Google Translate to pronounce the word. I typed that in using the old grammar, and the English voice on Google Translate said you would pronounce it Kor, so I'm going to pronounce it Kor. So what is pretty obvious right now is that the north coast of Dombil is looking pretty bare. The simple reason is because I haven't actually released or really finished any map that depicts the north of Dombil. So, this at this point in time, in the 4th millennium, this is the Kingdom of Nordland, most of this at least. And yeah, I've never actually depicted it any further north than Fantal or Gretal, I don't think at least. But In my Ozaria map, which I have not finished, and probably won't finish for a very long time, I did note down, alongside a lot of other factions, including things like the Secret Sun, Stoneclaw, the Caligarian Empire, all of that kind of stuff. I noted that there is this trade league along the northern coast called the Northern League, where there are several cities along many of these estuaries on the coast. So from east to west, there is Clairwig, Medelsund, Kolsmar, Bro, Wintersburg, just Winterberg, and Frohaven. So I did note down where each of them are. So I've just got to place them properly. So I believe, looking at my very crudely drawn map in my notebook, this is where Cloig is. The Northern League, as you probably can guess, is, well, if you know, is inspired by the Hanseatic League of the North Sea. From the it's more in the High Middle Ages. It's kind of interesting because I've completed my dissertation on the Frisians in the early Middle Ages, and in my opinion, they laid the groundwork for the Hanseatic League later on. But you know, that is a huge discussion, which I didn't attempt to try and make a case for that, but it's just something that I kind of think is true. I think this is where Cobblesmar is. I don't think I drew it along that river. Probably would make more sense if it was along that river, now that I think about it. Would it make sense? Yeah, I can afford it to go on that river. The reason why I'm a bit pedantic when it comes to this is that I just want to make sure that everything is accurate. I want to make sure that things are right, both for myself and if I ever need to reference a certain place, or if I need to depict it again. I want to make sure that, okay, definitively Colesmar is now along at the estuary of that river. I'm going to go to Bra now. I don't actually have the umlaut, which is a bit of a problem. I'll try and figure it out in a minute. But I don't know. Winterberg is along this river here. I need to consult I have actually made a map of Nordland, I just remembered. But it was 5 years ago using GIMP 2, so it's very low quality. I'm pretty sure that it is along this river here. And I think that Frohaven is at the end of this river here. So it's at the border with Caligurd. Before it was Caligurd, I think. Yeah, because actually no, sorry, my mistake. It's there. It's right there. Because not bordering Caligurd, it's bordering some place which in the second millennium was called Ikmadid, and over there was the city of Elhana. But yeah, that's not that. Here at the end of this river is where Frohaven is. Winterberg is I keep saying Wintersburg. Winterberg is along this river, and I believe that Bra is there. But I'm just going to consult some of my old maps, and you'll probably see them in place. After some brainstorming, I have been able to come up with some names for some of the places in the northern landmass of Aeba. For instance, I've got Duitu, which is home to Krath, the birthplace of the third Duidamak. He was born there before he was identified as the third incarnation of Duidamak. He was known as Malban. He was the son of a blacksmith. So he was a normal person who, after the Battle of Banhir against against some giants raiding from the ocean. He was sort of identified, quote unquote, as the third incarnation of the Weedamak. I've also got other locations such as Duralnu, which is the one of the Highland Gnome kingdoms. So you got the city of Duralnu and also Panalata. I've also wanted to include some more of the Aeban kingdoms. So you got Kor, you got Na, and you got Ait. I don't think the other ones, all of these other places like Baraith and Athak, I don't think they're going to be. They're not going to be kingdoms per se. They're going to be sort of like subservient in a way to one of these three. So I think Dweetu might be linked with the kingdom of Kor, for instance. I'm slowly starting to also add more places in Caelagurd. My idea is that Dweedamak might be raiding along this northern coast at some point, so that's why I want to make sure it's fleshed out enough. This video has gone on for quite a while already, so I'll probably end this as a sort of part 1, which is the first time I've done anything like that on this channel. But at the moment I've added a couple more names like Bruhir, Murfael, and a couple more around here, and also starting to put some giant settlements down in purple. I have to put that in the legend down here later on. And I've also been considering adding some new populations, so not just people from Aeba, but also, in addition to the gnomes and the giants, there's going to be a group of people called the Greligmen, who are going to live on some islands over here, and they would have been the the original human inhabitants of Aeba, and they would have been very hostile towards the gnomes and the giants, led by their king Grelig, who was a non or anti-Targaryen at the start of the Second Age, and so he would have migrated here with his followers, who became known as the Greligmen, and what later became the Aebans, so the people in like the kingdom of Kor and Ait and Na. They would have pushed the Greligmen out of the main landmass of Aeba, north, west, I'm imagining, towards some islands over here. So I'm thinking of making this cape, like this cape here, or it's not really a cape, this headland, sort of extend down and kind of like peninsula, making this a bay. And then that would hopefully lead to some more islands around this region. Could make the back end a bit more visually interesting rather than a straight line. That is quite boring. If you can draw a line like that along the coastline, not the most visually interesting, but then again, that happens in real life. Just look at North Cornwall, for example. But yeah, I'm going to leave this episode here and hopefully be less rambly in the next part of this mapping of Aeba. Started off as mapping the northern continent, and now it has a name. Thank you for watching, and hope to catch you in the next video. Bye.